Hey everyone, Coach Powers answering another question from the comment section. This one asked, does age impact healing? I've heard this, it feels like 1,000 times. I mean, a good portion, half or more of my clients are over the age of 40. And maybe half of those are over even 70, 60, 70, 80 years old, And they want to know, does age impact healing? Oh my God, am I doomed because I'm over 60, for example? What does this mean? And if so, what does it mean? And the short answer is, yes, age does impact healing. It does on a certain level. They've done so many, studies on this. It's common knowledge in the medical field that if you take, like, say, an 8-year-old and he has a small little cut of 1 inch, little scratch, and then an 80-year-old, same size, shape, everything, scratch, the 8-year-old is going to heal much faster. I mean, much, much faster. When you're a kid, you're healing like, you feel like an X-Men. You're like superpowers how fast, kids can heal. And this slows down into your 20s for sure, 30s, 40s, 50s, it does slow down. So that means something, that matters, yes. That, receptors, nerves, which nerves heal slower than anything. They really do. You can heal cartilage and muscle and bone faster than you can heal nerves. Nerves heal slowly. And as you get older, yes, it does slow down. And part of that is also, a big part of that is due to the reduction of stem cells, right? So if you guys look at the stem cells that, again, an 8-year-old has versus an 80-year-old, oh my God, it's exponentially lower for the 80-year-old. And stem cells are, those cells that go through the body and repair everything. Very, very important. By the way, you can double your stem cells right now within a matter of weeks by simply taking some dark chocolate, dark cacao. I always say that wrong. You know what I'm talking about. You take that dark chocolate powder, try to find something with low caffeine, because sometimes they do have caffeine. You don't want anything with sugar and all that. Just raw powder, and take 1 teaspoon of that and put it in, your milk or whatever you're eating, you're drinking, daily. And within weeks or a couple months, you can literally double your stem cell production, which in a sense could mean doubling the time it takes to heal. That's pretty cool. And don't take my word for it. There's a lot of studies done on this. You can research that for yourself and verify that. But anyway, back to age impacting healing. I don't want you to get freaked out and think you're doomed because you're in your 60s or 70s and you're tapering. In my opinion, as a benzo coach who's worked with thousands of people from around the planet at this point, I can honestly tell you that there are better predictors for how long something's going to take. For example, if you have a 30-year-old who has a lot of trauma as a child, really bad coping mechanisms and strategies, maybe drug or alcohol addictions or past addictions, many years of high dose benzo or other psychotropic meds, health anxieties, OCD, more serious mental health issues, right? You take that person with those variables and you compare them to an 80-year-old who maybe took benzos for, to help them sleep or something to that effect for 20 years, or maybe 20 years. That's still a lot longer than the 30-year-old, but didn't have all those other variables so much. It's entirely possible the 6-year-old heals, easier than the 30-year-old. So it's not a big enough, in my experience anyway, guys, it's not a big enough variable to me that, when someone completes an intake form for me to work with me, and I ask a lot of questions, age is a consideration, but it's more so a consideration in other things of, how well can this person get around or take care of themselves or do exercises or exposures, etc. But it's not the biggest predictor. I'm looking at those other things. I'm looking at the big picture here to try to see and get a sense of how well is this client going to do. For example, attitude is enormous. I don't care how old you are, or how many variables you have against you, or how many good variables you have. You could have the best variables. You could be young and healthy and, and only have taken benzos for a short period of time on a low dose, and you didn't even have any real reasons or mental illnesses or anything. Just the absolute best variables, but you have a really bad attitude. I mean, you're just really negative. You just really feel like everyone's against you, and in the universe is against you. And of course, this would happen. And or maybe you've just become a bit of a victim. You know that you've been clinging to this victim role a little bit. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't mean we're a bad person. We know certain circumstances and upbringing and influences and mindsets, and you can fall into that trap of thinking you're different. Sometimes just being too intelligent is a problem. If you can imagine, you weave, bigger, stickier webs for yourself, and you intellectualize your own healing to the point that you prevent or slow down your healing because your mind's just in the way. So there's a lot more predictors, more powerful or stronger predictors, let's say, than age. So please don't worry about your age. Instead, focus on what you can do to heal. That's so much more important.